I'd like to say thank you for everyone that voted on this episode. Today we are going to be discussing my PlayStation 2 collection. And this is one of my favorite consoles. The variety and the amount of just amazing games on this console are endless. My collection's a little curated. I definitely have a taste, a certain type. So we got about 30 games to get through, so we're going to get started immediately with the game on the screen behind me. And that is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Oh yeah, you could not go wrong with San Andreas. It is probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto game of all time. I remember when this game first came out, being able to ride the bikes, the gang mentality, the Los Angeles setting where you could also go to San Francisco and also Las Vegas was pretty eye-opening and innovative at the time. The customization with the vehicles, being able to customize your character, you could make them fat, you can make them skinny, you can make them jacked. The possibilities were endless and just mind-blowing with the amount of stuff you could do in this open world. So still to this day, I absolutely adore San Andreas. It's my favorite Grand Theft Auto game, so we're starting out with that. It's a banger. I didn't want to capture footage for all these games too, so I kind of just had, the disc in, the console, and we're going to let that kind of play in the background so you get a little bit of a taste for each game as I go through it. Let's get into game number 2. Game number 2, we are rolling with NCAA Football 08. Oh yeah, the best year for any college football game. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, it's just the one I found at my local game store right down the street, Another Castle, and I picked it up for $2.40 because I wanted a college football game. With NCAA 25, I think it's called, on the horizon, coming out soon, I was itching to play some college football, so I really wanted to pick up, I think it was 12 or 13, I don't know, the one that had Tebow on it. I remember playing a lot in college. But this one still holds up really good. The gameplay is fun. I love playing the franchise mode, taking a really kind of shitty college team and building up to a national powerhouse is always fun. Building up your recruiting class, getting transfers to come, turning freshmen into Heisman winners. It's just really fun to me. It still holds up. I love the gameplay. Has a lot of replay value that's involved with it, and I still enjoy going back and playing these games. They're a lot of fun to me, and I had to add NCAA football to the collection, and there you have it. Moving right along. This next game is the newest in my collection. It actually just came in the mail last night, and I played a little over an hour, I would say. And I really enjoyed it, and that is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Now, starting off, this is kind of one of the spin-off games of Mortal Kombat that were popular in the early 2000s. You might remember the Sub-Zero game that came out, and then also the spin-off, I think, with Jax on PlayStation 1. You basically have the option to start off with Liu Kang or Kung Lao. And then you can unlock 2 characters. We did get this one complete in box, so the manual's in really good shape. Super stoked about that. Got a good deal on this too. Case, game, manual, everything, $20. You cannot beat that. This game typically goes for about $30, $35, I would say. And it's kind of like a beat 'em up style Mortal Kombat. You can use your different specialty moves. You can even unlock different fatalities. And like I said, a couple new characters, new abilities as you start to play. And then you fight along the other characters as you progress through the game as well. So all of your favorites you see throughout the game. You get to battle some of the iconic bosses throughout the game. If you haven't checked this one out, definitely give it a shot. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Okay, this next game might need a little bit of explaining. It's very random, but it is the Polar Express for PlayStation 2. I would say the main reason I picked this up is because I found it at Value Village for like $3, and I don't have a lot of Christmas games in the collection, so I figured I'd pick this one up and give it a shot this Christmas. This is the first time I've actually put in the disc, so I don't even know what's playing behind me really, but I thought it might be kind of fun. It could be terrible, I have no idea, but it's hard to come across Christmas games, so we'll give this one a shot around Christmas and see what it's all about. We did get it complete in box as well. Here's the manual. It's in really good shape. Looks like you got your bright and shiny things and your bags of tricks. Who knows? This game could be terrible, but the box, the manual, and the game are all in great condition, so that's good. Random, but the Polar Express for PlayStation 2. Oh yeah. Who doesn't want that in their collection? Next up we have Medal of Honor Frontline Papa Edition. I love when you find these used games and they have random names written on them and stuff like that. This is another, I can't remember if I got this at Goodwill or Value Village. We did get this one complete in box as well. The manual is a little crusty on this one, but it's still got all the pages. You can even register to your EA account on here. I don't know what, oh, you can get EA cheat codes and game hints. Oh yeah. But I do remember playing this one as a kid. Another one I rented a lot. It's actually in a Blockbuster case. Very fitting. But I remember just starting out on the beaches of Normandy, storming the beaches on the boat, and then the action combat. It was one of the first-person shooters I had for the PlayStation 2, I believe, or that I used to play. And this one actually was pretty fun, and haven't played it in a while, so can't wait to see how it holds up. But I used to like the Medal of Honor series. I don't know what happened to them. I guess they kind of fell off due to Call of Duty and stuff like that. But looking forward to jumping back in this one eventually. It's on the backlog with the rest of these random games in my collection. But this one's not so random because I actually enjoyed it as a kid. So there you have it. Medal of Honor Frontline. Next, we have another football game coming in with Madden 07. Disregard the Xbox case. I think I swapped out the original case for another game. I cannot remember. But this is another one where I kind of just like the gameplay and the soundtrack from this era. I remember playing this a lot at one of my stepdad's friend's house when I was in probably middle school. We'd go over to their house and eat dinner, and they had a PlayStation 2 upstairs, and this is one of the games they would play. And I would sit there and play this game for hours as they sat downstairs and drank wine and did whatever they did. And I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so these weren't the greatest days for my Dallas Cowboys, but I remember, once again, I like building up those teams that aren't so good. So it was always kind of fun taking my Cowboys and actually making them relevant in the game. The gameplay, I would say, is very similar to the NCAA football game I was talking about earlier, minus being able to do like the option plays and some of the formations. And the franchise mode is pretty in-depth in this as well, but not as fun as the NCAA football, I would say. But this is still a great era of Madden, and always fun to kind of include that old school kind of classic mode, or classic vibe of Madden. You have the NFL All-Star Hall of Fame mode, all new lead blocker controls, authentic defensive player playbooks, and the deepest franchise mode ever. I don't know about that, but... And then you have the new highlight stick moves, so I guess this is when they introduce like the hit stick and the juke stick and stuff like that. But anyways, no manual with this one, just the disc and the case. Madden 07 Oh yeah. Knocking out some sports titles. I do apologize if I sound a little hoarse in this video. I have been a little under the weather lately, so yeah, it's a struggle, but we're gonna push through like a true professional. We got another sports title up next, and that is Fight Night 2004. This is actually a very classic game. One of the best boxing games of all time, in my humble opinion. I'd say either this one or Fight Night Champion were the two I played the most growing up, outside of like Ready to Rumble for GameCube, or not GameCube, Dreamcast. But we do have this one complete in box as well. The manual's in very nice shape. This game is stacked with heavy hitters in terms of boxing. Icons, you got your career mode. I always love creating my own player, kind of building him up to become the next heavyweight champion of the world. You know, because if I was a professional boxer, I would definitely be heavyweight with my stature. But the gameplay, the realistic feel of this game is incredible. I think just pulling off like the body shots and the combos feels very realistic and has also a nice difficulty to it. It's not too easy, it's not extremely too hard, but as you work your way up, it does get very difficult at times and you will have to work for those wins. It's not going to give it to you. So if you've never checked out this one, I definitely recommend it, and that is Fight Night 04. EA Sports, it's in the game. Hey, who remembers these translucent, is that the word? Controllers that were kind of clear? I always thought these were kind of sick. I've got the blue one. I had the green one for a while, which was really cool, but I ended up selling it. Another fan favorite for many people watching, I'm sure, we had to add an RPG to the mix, and that is Kingdom Hearts, the original. I have not played this game since I was probably in middle school, and it's one I would love to go back to. I just remember all the variety of characters you get to play through and the different storylines. You know, Jack Skellington's one of my favorites, going to Halloween Town. But Kingdom Hearts is just a classic in so many different ways. Just the sound of that menu screen alone gives me so much nostalgia. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to play RPGs anymore. Just long games in general, but we do have this one complete in box as well. The manual's in excellent shape. And definitely want to fire this one up soon and play through a little bit of it. It's got all the different magic spells you can do in here. The items, the different characters. Yeah, it's just a classic. So, there you have it. Kingdom Hearts. Hope to revisit it here soon one day. Comment down below what's your favorite Kingdom Hearts game or memory. I'd love to hear about it. As you can see on the screen behind me, Capcom. And one of the best intros of all time, we have Resident Evil Code Veronica. This was a title I grew up on. I did not have a PlayStation 2 for a while, or even a PlayStation, I don't think. I remember having the Dreamcast, and this was one of the only Resident Evils I could play. So a very soft spot in my heart for this title. We do have the complete in box version. The manual is extra crispy. We do not have the Devil May Cry demo in here, so that's unfortunate, but it's got all your attacks, how you push things, how you run. It was kind of annoying how you had to press a button to walk up the stairs in this one. They still hadn't got rid of it. But this really was the last leg of the original Resident Evil format that we all love, with the fixed camera angles. And before they kind of switched over to the more action-based, there was a lot of action in this one, but it's weird, it's goofy, it's creepy at times, and hopefully it gets a remake soon because I think it deserves one. more than Resident Evil 5 in my opinion, but it's also one of the more longer Resident Evil games. So there you have it, Resident Evil Code Veronica. If you've never played this and you're a survival horror fan, you need to pick it up and play it now. I'm pretty sure you can play it digitally on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, whatever you got, PlayStation 3 possibly. But it's a classic. It's very underrated in my opinion. I love Claire, I love Chris, and this is kind of a journey you get to explore with both of them. So check it out, Resident Evil Code Veronica. Next we have kind of a Rockstar hidden gem in a certain way. I feel like it doesn't get as much credit and love as the GTA Grand Theft Auto series, and that is Bully for PlayStation 2. I've actually never completed this game. I fired it up and played about an hour or so of it, and it's pretty cool how you can go to class. You know, you can kind of interact with the open environment, the open world. And we do have the manual for this one as well, complete in box. It's kind of got your basic controls in here. It's got your different weapons and your inventory system. It was pretty fun for what I played of it. I need to get around and finish it here soon, but you know, like I've been saying the whole time, there's so many games in the collection, so many in the backlog. But I do like the school setting with this one, and kind of the prankster vibe, you know, kind of messing with people, having fun, getting into trouble. It's definitely pretty unique for its time, and a classic in a lot of people's eyes. So can't wait to finish it sometime soon. And that is Bully, the greatest hits version. Well, unfortunately, the next game on our list is not working. As you can see behind me, it is frozen. I didn't notice it when I actually picked this game up, and this is one I actually ordered offline with MERCARI, and it's Shadow of Rome. I've heard really good things about it. It is kind of a gladiator beat-em-up type game with stealth elements made by Capcom. And I was really looking forward to playing it. It was actually on my list to do a Who Remembers on it. But unfortunately, it is not working, so that's on me. I should have checked the disc before I rated the person. But Shadow of Rome, I guess I'll have to pick up another copy of it, but I've definitely heard this is a hidden gem. Comment down below if anyone's played this, and I guess I will have to explore other options of finding it and picking up another copy. That's a bummer. Next we have The Sopranos Road to Respect. I had never heard of this game. I actually found 2 copies of it. This was a very clean copy, so I decided to keep it. It does have the manual and I believe some kind of poster, which is kind of cool. Oh yeah, check that out. Nice little Sopranos poster. I never really got into the show like everyone else. I know a lot of people love the show. I have nothing wrong with it. I love The Godfather. I love the Mafia games. I just finished Mafia number 2. There you go. It's got all the different characters right there. Manual's in really good shape. And it goes for a decent price online, so I'm pretty intrigued to pick this one up and play it sometime. Comment down below if anyone's played The Sopranos Road to Respect and if it's any good. Mafia games were very popular at this time. This one came out, let's see, 2006, I believe. Case is in really good shape. Disc is in good shape. So I look forward to playing this game sometime. I love Mafia type of games. I love The Godfather, like I said, so I'll definitely have to give this one a shot. I'm sure it's kind of like an open world type Grand Theft Auto style of game. You know, everyone was kind of trying to imitate GTA games at the time. So, nice cutscenes. Yeah, there you have it. The Sopranos, Road to Respect. Next, we have another sports title, and considered as one of the greatest football games of all time, and that is NFL 2K5. I remember playing this so much as a kid. The realistic simulations type of football in this game was incredible. The franchise mode and the gameplay were spectacular. And this really pushed Madden to the brink. You know, it really brought the best out of Madden. And I think that Madden ended up buying the game engine that was used for this to basically eliminate them as being their competitor. I mean, that's how good it was. The pre-game, it would like break down and show your highlights too after the game. So much depth with this series. And even the first title, I remember the first 2K game with like Randy Moss was just like mind-blowing how it played and how smooth it was and how realistic it felt. So I had to add ESPN 2K5 to the collection. It's one of my favorites of all time. We do have this one complete in box as well with the manual. Manual's in really good shape. I'm really having to persevere through this video. I'm starting to lose my voice. I cannot imagine doing like my PlayStation 4 collection with like over 40 games, because we have like 28 to go through with this collection, and I am losing my voice. These lights are burning up. It's so hot in here. It's hot outside today too, which isn't helping, but we're gonna push through it. We still got a whole stack to go through. We haven't even made it through the first stack yet, but we're gonna keep pushing, baby. We got a couple racing games coming up next. First, we're starting with Need for Speed Underground 2, a classic game. These were the peak of Need for Speed, in my opinion, with the Underground series, and then leading into Most Wanted with the open world aspect. I think this was the one that introduced the open world first. Had great customization with the cars. I kind of like the storyboard comic book setting, how it kind of tells the story with the cutscenes. And graphically, it was really nice. Gameplay, it was super fun. I do have the manual for this one, and it is crispy as well. We have a lot of EA games I'm noticing for PlayStation 2. But the manual's in really good shape. I love the Miami setting. Yeah, it's Need for Speed Underground 2. It's a classic. Give it a shot if you've never tried it before, and if you like racing games. I'm not even big into racing games, and these are still fun to me. Next, we have the GOAT of the Need for Speed series, and that is Need for Speed Most Wanted, my favorite of the entire series, and one of the more challenging ones of the entire series. You have to work your way up the blacklist, and once you break into that top 10, I think you start at like number 15, things get very challenging. But I love the arcadey gameplay of this one, the open world aspect, the variety of races you could do. The drag racing was one of my favorites too. And the customization with the vehicles only enhanced and got better from the Underground series, and the selection of cars was classic too. This one never gets old to me. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Next, we have one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. This was probably the most expansive of the original trilogy. We do have this one complete in box with the manual. The manual is nice and crispy. I love the survival aspect of this game, where you can camouflage yourself, sneak around in the jungle, eat snakes. And it's kind of like considered the first game of the actual series, the prequel to Metal Gear Solid 3, which is my favorite. And, well, this is Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid, the first game for PlayStation 1, but can't go wrong with having Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater, the original trilogy, is just very close to my heart. I love Konami and Hideo Kojima. This is when he was at his peak before they pushed him out of the company. So I really like the direction they went with this game. Can't wait for the remake. Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Moving right along, we have Red Dead Revolver. I think Gun came before this, but this was one of the first in the series for the Red Dead Redemption series, franchise, whatever you want to say. I have not finished Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. I wanted to finish this one first. This one kind of bounces around with different characters. The gameplay is pretty fun. The shooting takes a little bit of time to get used to, but the story is pretty good. The gameplay is fun. It's engaging enough to keep you wanting to see what happens next. I need to go back and finish it because it does get pretty challenging at times, but if you haven't played the first Red Dead, give it a shot. It is pretty fun. Don't have the manual for this one, but case and game are in good shape. Check it out sometime. Red Dead Revolver. Another classic coming in with Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Fortunately, I have not beat this one. I started to play the remaster, I quote unquote saying, for the Switch, which was really fun. But we do have the complete box copy of this one. It's got this cool like comic book vibe setting on the inside. And then a nice little advertisement for Silent Hill 2. This is when Konami was really peaking, as I was just saying with Metal Gear Solid 3. A lot of people were kind of pissed that you didn't get to play as Solid Snake throughout this game, and you get to play as Raiden, I think is his name, most of the time. I didn't mind him. I thought he was a pretty good character. I like the whole like government conspiracy, little plot going on, and some of the predictions they were talking about with like AI and stuff that's happening now in real life is talked about in this game. So congrats to Hideo Kojima for seeing into the future with that stuff. But this is a really fun game. I love the story, the characters, the boss fights. I need to go back and finish it soon, like a lot of these games. But next time I go on an airplane or on a trip, I'll definitely be bringing my Switch with me and playing this. So Metal Gear Solid 2. You can't go wrong with any Metal Gear Solid game on the PlayStation 2. I think they are a must for the system and need to be added to every collection. There you have it. Moving right along to another I consider it a hidden gem because it gets overlooked in terms of the Capcom franchise, and that is the first Unim Musha. This was kind of like Resident Evil with samurais. I remember discovering this at my local rental store as a kid and absolutely being like blown away because I thought it was so cool how there was like a survival horror samurai type game. I do have this one complete in box. In the latest Capcom poll, they actually had people vote, and this was one of the ones on there for a full-on remake. I think that would be very interesting to see it on modern consoles. I mean, I know I think they did like an HD remaster or something not too long ago, but I like the originals. It's a very short game, but action-packed, cool boss fights, cool weapon upgrades, and just a fun one to kind of go through. To kind of scratch that itch for some survival horror and you want something a little bit different, check out Unim Musha. Great series, great game, a lot of fun. Capcom, once again, just crushing it. So many great titles and lineups within that company. It's amazing. Transitioning right into Unim Musha 2, Samurai's Destiny. I never beat this one back in the day, so I'm kind of excited to pick this one up. I've heard really good things about it. Really, honestly, with the second and the third one. I don't own the third one, so we're not going to jump into that one next. But we do have this one complete in box as well. It's got the nice manual, crispy manual. It's got your basic attacks, your special attacks. And I think it kind of expands on everything the first one did. With your moveset, the special abilities you pick up, the different swords and weapons you can use throughout the game. And of course the boss fights. But it's just a fun series that Capcom had in the early 2000s. And once again, if you haven't picked up and played any of these, you can find them pretty cheap, and they are a lot of fun. And you can play them on modern consoles too, I think, digitally. So check it out. The Unim Musha series as a whole is a gem of a series and classic games to play. So Unim Musha 2. Another title I've never played before, but I've always wanted to get into the series, and that's the Metal Slug series. This one is the combination of Metal Gear Slug 4 and 5. I have no clue if either one of these are good titles, but I found this pretty cheap. I think I paid like $4 for it, and it does come with the manual. It's got both discs in here. I've always loved like the art style too of the Metal Slug series. I think it started on the Neo Geo, I believe. But I love these kind of like beat 'em up Contra style games. These classic like, ooh. Wow, I think it's got, yep. It's got E3 Games. I thought this was the receipt. Man, remember Electronic Boutique? Wow, I have not heard about them in a while. I guess that's where they picked it up for $24.90 back in the day. So I'll definitely have to give these a shot one day. These are kind of just like a pick up and play type game for me. I don't know if I'll really try to beat it or whatever, but Metal Slug has always been an interest of mine to play, and came across this and said, hey, let's give it a shot. So Metal Slug 4 and 5. Comment down below if these are good Metal Slug games or are they terrible. I'd like to know. This is one of my favorite James Bond games of all time, and that is 007 Nightfire. I remember renting this one over and over again. The gameplay, the different cars you could use, I thought were so cool. This was probably my favorite Bond game after GoldenEye. A lot of them were kind of hit or miss, but I remember Nightfire just being a very solid game. The case is all beat up with this one. No manual. The disc is in pretty good shape. I will probably go through and do a Who Remembers on this at some point, because this is just a classic Bond game. Comment down below what is your favorite James Bond game, and if you played Nightfire back in the day. I remember your car just had so many different weapons, and yeah, it's the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. Engage in 5 high-speed levels. Yeah, so you use the car a lot, use the sniper a lot, but we'll have to jump into this one soon. This was a true hidden gem back in the day, and still a lot of people don't talk about it too much, but Nightfire I always thought was one of the best 007 games. I love the Pierce Brosnan era too. Next up, we have a Naughty Dog classic, and one series that I've never jumped into, and I saw this one at my local Value Village. We got the complete in box copy of Jak and Daxter 2. I've heard this is one of the best ones outside of, I guess, the first one, but they've always seemed like fun little platformers to me. Some of the best 3D platformers I've heard on the PlayStation 2 are the Jak and Daxter series, so can't go wrong with this in the collection. I definitely want to play it soon. Let me know below, what is your favorite Jak and Daxter game, and is this a good one? I've heard this and the first one are the best ones, so I'm excited to check this one out. I love the 3D platformer action type of adventure, third-person shooter type games, and the combination of the two characters and the comic relief. It just seems like a fun, light-hearted game to kind of jump into, and I've heard it's kind of challenging too, so excited to check it out here pretty soon. Man, this has been a marathon, but we are down to the last 5 games, and coming in next we have Silent Hill 2. I just recently finished a video called How Silent Hill 2 Gave Me Closure. If you have not seen that video, make sure you go check it out after this video. But this is one of my favorite survival horror games of all time. It is an absolute classic. What more can I really say about it? The music, the environment, the characters, the storytelling. The atmosphere is just top notch. You can't beat it. I'm looking forward to the remake. People need to give it a shot. And, yep, it's Silent Hill 2. I mean, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. It's weird trying to control the game as I'm staring backwards with the controller. But anyways, check out Silent Hill 2. If you haven't played it, it is a must if you're a survival horror fan. Yep. Let's round it out. One of my favorite Tony Hawk games of all time, we have Tony Hawk's Underground, the first one. I recently picked this up and played through a little bit of it, and it still just has all that charm and charisma and just fun. This game is just fun. Simply, I can't describe it any other way. It's kind of the top tier of that original format, and it introduced a career mode and a storytelling mode aspect to it where you could do various different things. The gameplay was still top notch. You could get off your board. You had little goofy stealth missions, and you can kind of hitch behind cars, and you're working your way up as this unknown skater from this dirt neighborhood, and you have your rival Eric, and you can kind of customize your character. It is just a blast. I have to do a Who Remembers on this definitely soon. Don't have the manual for this one, but I ended up finding it at Value Village, I think for like $3. So, oh no, found this one at Goodwill a few weeks ago, so can't go wrong there. Had to pick it up. Tony Hawk's Underground. Comment down below your favorite Tony Hawk game. Grand Theft Auto 3, the one that changed it all, in my opinion. This was such a groundbreaking title, and hands down, outside of I think the first or second Tony Hawk, I can't remember. This was the reason I wanted a PlayStation 2. I remember going over to friends' houses playing this and just being mind blown. This was the first time I had seen an open world in a true sense, where you could run around and do everything. Everything. Stealing cars. I mean, you name it. And who remembers this? These posters that used to come with games with the map. I mean, how sick is that? I wish they still did stuff like that for games. But this is, I think, one of the most underrated Grand Theft Autos and often gets overlooked. I actually did a video, if you haven't seen it, how this is one of the most underrated Grand Theft Autos, in my opinion. The main character doesn't speak, so that's kind of like a downfall a little bit, but I love the mafia setting in the New York mentality and the New York vibe, Liberty City, and all the connections with the other games, and how they're all pieced together. It all started here. I know you had the ones on the original PlayStation, but those are kind of lame in my opinion. This was the one that changed it all and put GTA on the map. Grand Theft Auto 3. I'm seriously losing my voice, so thank you for sticking around. If you've been here the whole time, we got 2 games left. We get to end my PlayStation 2 collection with one of the finest series on the PlayStation 2, and that is God of War. This is where it all started, people. I still need to go finish this one. I played through about halfway through it and really was impressed and kind of blown away with how much they did in this game. The boss fights are absolutely incredible and just epic. And you really see, you know, the roots of the series and how everything just kind of progressed into what it is today. We do have the original manual. That's kind of cool. It's got all the different characters in here. And this shows where Kratos gets his start. And he is a very hardened individual in these early games. But man, these are such epic games. And I really need to go finish it, because I had a blast with it. But I've kind of put myself onto a schedule now, so whenever it comes up in the schedule and I plan it in, that's where it'll be finished. Oh. But, yeah, the original God of War. Go check it out. If you haven't played it, if you've only played the new ones, please go back and play the original. It is worth it and still holds up. Rounding out the collection, we have one I picked up recently, and that is God of War 2. I've heard this is arguably one of the best in the series, so I cannot wait to dip into it. And I got a really good deal on this. I found this at Half Price Books for $6.99. I mean, you can't beat that. Complete in box with both discs. Manual's in really good shape. Yeah, this is the one that has Zeus in it. Yeah, I've heard just the boss fights in this one are just taken to the next level from the original and kind of progressed everything from the original. So once I beat the first one, I'll definitely have to go back and beat this one. God of War 2, rounding it out for the PlayStation 2 collection. And we did it. My goodness. That was something, going through this entire collection. So I hope you stuck around for the entirety of the video. If not, I understand. Save a little bit for it later. But if you did, you're a real one. I appreciate it. Make sure you give this video a like. Comment down below what games I should pick up for the PlayStation 2. If I'm missing anything, you know, what your thoughts are about my collection. I know it's not the biggest collection in the world, but it suits me. It's got basically everything I want. You know, I'm missing a handful of games, but consider subscribing to the channel, and we will see you next time. I'm going to get out of here and eat some lunch. Peace. Stay blessed.